and start getting the boat ready. So first things first, we'll just get our sails started. That's the ignition on. Port engine and the starboard engine. Turn on the multi-plate display screen. And that's just booting up. And whilst that's doing that, we'll go and get everything ready to cast off. So, here we go. First things first is the electric. In the past there's been times when I've forgotten to do this, only a couple of times, but you only need to do it a couple of times, don't you? So first things first, disconnect the shore power. I've already turned it off in the boat and put it on to ready for sailing or boating, and we'll just get this in here. See if we can pull this in a bit. There we go, and we'll just throw that on there, and I'll make sure that I'll just go and retrieve that so we don't get it dragging in the water, because that would never do. So we'll just get this line neatly ready for our little punt up the river. And now we'll get the lines untied. Now we'll just check that I've got the bow thruster on, which I know I haven't, so I'm just going to do that now, and we'll get this sorted out and turn that on. Not that we need it short, but turn it on anyway. And the depth gauge, and that you can see we're ticking over at 600 revs per minute. And we'll just turn the bow thruster on and make sure that's okay. That's fine. And we'll just make sure that the props are in place. Yep. So I'm happy with that, and I think it's a really nice day. We'll just open the roof. Gosh, it's really bright. I think I have to put my my sunglasses on. Right. So. That's ready for when we get back. Note the use of the royal we. And now we'll just get the bow line off. Now I always like to have, as I'm single-handed, I always like to have this line all the way back. So when I return, I can get the stern line on and then just hit the forward line off, and away we go. So let's pull that in so I can get on board. That'll do nicely, and we'll just take the stern line off. There's always a will you, won't you minute. There we go. Right, let's get cracking. I think I'll reverse out using my joystick. And here we go. Open the window so I can stick my head out. Not much wind today, which is nice. Not going to get blown about, which is always nice. Makes life a little bit easier. And away we go. Let's turn the boat around now using the joystick. And some people say these joysticks are for people that can't drive boats. I think that's just a lot of nonsense. It just makes life easier. And anything that makes life easier, it's got to be a good thing. So now we're going to straighten up, and once we're straight, I'm going to engage the sticks, and away we jolly well. There we go. Let's have a look, see if there's anybody about. I don't expect there'll be much going on, to be honest with you, but you never know. And we're going to go downstream. And see upstream there's a Cox 4, I think. but we're going downstream. Now I'm just going to alter this to put it on one single lever, and the reason I do that is it keeps the revs identical. You can see 600 revolutions per minute there, well, just accelerated, but you know, and 600 here, both sides. So it keeps the revs absolutely identical on each engine if I use a single stick, and I just prefer to do that. It's better for fuel economy, and it's just easier. The thing that you've got to do is remember that when you're moving, to take it out of single stick and back onto dual sticks. Otherwise, you know, you could get things a bit wrong. We're approaching the entrance to my home marina, but once we get past the entrance, I'm going to turn round, and we will then get into the marina and down to our berth. I'm going to pull over to starboard, and this is quite a nice little stretch to turn around in. The wind's picked up a bit, not much though, and I'm going to commence my turn shortly. Let's make sure nothing's behind me. Oh, I've got an oarsman, a boat coming down, I think. Yeah, I have. So I'll just pull over here, but it's a nuisance. Let's come to a stop. Let these chaps get past me. And cocks 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then I'm going to commence my turn. So, both engines are now engaged, and we're just going to go get across this entrance if we can. And when I can see both sides of the channel into the marina, I will then turn. Turn my bow thruster on just in case, and I'm going to turn now. And we'll just straighten up in a minute, trying to keep to the starboard side because obviously the current from upstream will push me towards port, but once I get into the marina, there's no real current. We just have to think about the wind, and fortunately there's not very much of that. This tends to be a pretty sheltered marina in any event, so you know, it's not too bad at all. So my berth is fantastic. It's dead ahead, so I can literally, you know, keep a pretty straight line, and we'll get in there. So I've got both engines on the moment. I'm doing tick over. I'm doing 4 miles an hour over ground, 5 miles an hour through the water, and I'm going to slow down any minute. I'll just get past Calypso on my starboard bow. Bit of flotsam of some description floating about in the channel. So, just getting lined up, and I'm going to put my engines into neutral. So I'm now just drifting towards my berth. Still got a bit of steerage because there's water going over the stern drives and they're kind of acting like rudders. And I think we're about right. I'm going to open this because I can peer through the starboard window, sorry, port window, and see how far I'm off the edge of the quay, which is helpful. So, can't see the quay yet, obviously, because we're a bit far away, but we're just drifting in. Engines on, not on, well, they're on, but they're in neutral. And we're just coming in. I'm just going to do a touch of reverse thrust with my starboard engine, slow the boat down a bit and also straighten her up. And I'm a wee bit off, so I'm going to engage my joystick, and we are, and let's pull her over to port a bit, use the bow to get us, bow thruster to get us straightened up, and move a bit further in towards the quay because I can see that through the window. And I think we're nearly, yes, that's just about right. So I'm just going to stop the boat if I can, and now we'll get some lines on. So I'm going to put a stern line on first. Stop me going forwards, and there indeed is the stern line, the stern cleat. So let's put that round there, just bring her in. I'm not tying her up properly just yet, we're just going to get her online. So I've got now the forward line in my hand, and I'm going to step off the boat, and we'll just pull her over a little bit, and then we'll position her. Here we go. So, considering the weight of Lady Di, you know, she's ever so easy to manoeuvre just by hand. Get her a bit further up. I'm going to slacken off that rear rope in a minute, but to start off with, I'm just going to tie her here. There you go. And now we'll just loosen this off a little bit. That should give me a little bit more flexibility. I'll probably have to do it again, but I don't mind that. I'd rather get it right than not. So, just lean forward a bit. No, she won't let me go any further than that. I think I need a bit more slack. Now what we'll do first is I'll get the stern in. I'm going to step on, and I'm going to get this line here that's on the quay, we go. Just where I want to be, so it's nice and easy to get on and off. Right, that's that. And yes, I'm quite happy with that. So what we'll do now is we'll take this line off here, because the stern is being kept in by this line going across to there, and we'll pop this onto here. And my telephone's going again. So we've now got this stern line on here to there, and we've got this line to here. And what we're going to do, that'll stop the boat going that way, and we're going to put a spring on here like so, and that'll stop the boat going that way. So and I've got a bit of rope to play with, which will tidy up in a minute, but first I want to get this line on for a spring. So we'll take this off here, and we'll take that back to here. Just do one turn around that, which is a convenient cleat, and then put this on this mid cleat here. There's a spring, and that will do nicely. And we'll just pop it there for a bit of safety. Not really necessary, but it keeps it neat as well. And then we'll just coil this up a bit. Pop this line through here, and now we'll get the electrics plugged in. Take the through the fair lead, keep it neat and tidy. There we go. Plug that in. And we'll turn the engines off and put the shore power switch to on. So here we are. Quick step down. Engines off. And shoreline on. There we go. All good.